But did you die? Probably not if you're here watching. My name's Dawn, and I'm a performance psychologist. I want to talk about But Did You Die today because, as people that work in EMS or fire or police or the military or are veterans of any of those agencies, this is something that's very common. We have these experiences in life on the day to day that most people think that you might die from, and we laugh it off, and it's funny. And you know what? In the moment, it's a great coping mechanism. It's dark humor. It's funny, but it lets you go from that one event onto the next that you have to, because we go from call to call, we go from mission to mission. In the long term, not the best coping mechanism out there, and that's why I want to talk about it. It affects a lot of things. Number one, it affects your relationships. So when you're moving into a civilian population, whether it's for work, whether it's in your community, whatever the case may be, you're going to deal with people who you're going to talk about your experiences with, and you're going to be like laughing it off. And but did you die? And they're going to not think it's funny. That the joke just was like that wasn't cool. We don't talk about things like that. Or you could have died, and oh my God, and then you're like, well, it's not that serious. The other issue that you run into is people are going to have decisions to make, like at work. That's a really good one. And you're going from this work that truly you're making life and death decisions on the daily. When I was in the military, when I was working EMS, on the daily, you would make decisions. I would make decisions that literally impacted, and I had to make the decision right now, whether somebody would live or somebody would die. And that is just how it was. There were other calls, don't get me wrong, that the lift assist, but these calls were somebody's life or death. So when I transition over into the civilian population, and we've got this time, literally weeks, to make a decision, literally, and the chaos is just spinning like, oh my God. And you take a step back and you're like, but nobody's going to die. I don't understand. And people get offended by that. They get offended by your lack of urgency. You're brushing them off, you're blowing them off, but it's like no big deal. And why should I take on that stress, right? So we move on. But how do we handle this so that it's not a problem in keeping those jobs, keeping those relationships, and building those relationships? Happens at home too. Our families are usually a little more used to it because they've been around us for so long, and they know how we are. But at times they can feel brushed off, blown off, because something that's a really big deal to them isn't just a really big deal in the moment to you because of what you were just dealing with. You're dealing with other people's lives, or a lot of people's lives, and death and chaos and mayhem. And this is just like the newest princess movie came out. It's just not, but you got to be able to make that transition. So again, in the moment, but did you die? And laughing it off and the dark humor are fantastic. It's a great coping mechanism to move on to that next call. But you have to understand that you've got to deal with that and put those things in the appropriate perspective, so that they don't become cumulative stress and turn into anxiety. The other issue that happens is when we have that cumulative stress and that anxiety and these issues that go on, we start to judge ourselves. We start to think back and reflect on some of those calls. Did we make the right call? Did we not make the right call? And the depression kind of sets in. And this is why in these fields, we have some of the highest rates of suicide or suicidal ideation of any job type out there. And we don't want that. We don't want to die after joking about, hey, but did you die, right? It's not okay. Suicide is never a great option. It's never a good option. It shouldn't be an option, okay? So my point being, we need to talk about this a lot more and make it a bigger deal. Make sure that you have a plan in place for putting these events into the appropriate box or dealing with them long term. Just because we laughed about it on the scene or after the call in the immediate or with our friends, had that dark humor going, just because we did that, that's not dealing with it, guys. Let's be real. It's not dealing with it. Face it. So what we want to do is build resilience. So when we come into those moments, we're able to move forward. We can put them in their proper perspective, and we can take the time to reflect and move forward in a positive manner. building resilience doesn't always mean talking to somebody or talking to me. That's it can, and I think it's a very helpful way. Talk therapy is great. It doesn't have to be therapy. It can just be talking it through and building stress relieving mechanisms that work for you. It's going to be different for everybody out there. But having somebody to work through it with should be on your agenda, because whether it's me, whether it's somebody else, having somebody that can help you build goals and check in with you regularly and make sure that you are executing on those and building healthy habits to deal with everything that you have going on in your life, that builds resilience, and it builds healthier relationships in business, in your family, in your friends, and it builds a healthier you. So again, I might not be the right person for you, but if you think I might be, or you are interested in talking to me, get in touch, dmhperformance.info. Thank you, and be healthy and be happy.